Run. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah.
Hey, it's Cherry, and I am back with another story time for you guys. And this story time is going to be about how I fell out with my ex best friend. Now, I actually have two ex best friends that I fell out with. Both of them are in my story time with the when one of my friends got really super drunk. So they're both in those. And I fell out with both of them in like different ways, but one of them we just grew apart, so it's not really a story time. The other one, I feel like her exit was shady. I really feel like her exit was shady, and I mean, y'all let me know how you feel about this. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sensitive sometimes, so maybe I'm tripping. If you guys are wondering about this hair is actually this brand called Brazilian Secret. And so it's a synthetic human hair blend, and it feels so good. Like, it literally feels so good. It feels like human hair all the way. It's really, really long. It's really pretty. I've been stalking this wig for forever, and the beauty supply store that I wanted to get it from, it would always sell out. So this one is the Brazilian Secret wig in the Brazilian Girl 30. I really like the Alice wig too, so I'm gonna get the Alice one next. But anyway, that's besides the point. I just really like this wig. And I figured people might have questions about it. But yes, so on to this story, and I might do, my voice be cracking. I'm probably gonna try and do a couple stories today just because I feel like I'm presentable, and why not? So yes, so where did I even start? I had this friend in college. We were literally joined at the hip. We met in college, and from the moment we met, we just clicked. Now, I can't honestly remember exactly how we met. I want to say we actually met through another friend that I had in college. We did. We met through another friend that I had in college, and we just clicked off gate. And it was one of those, like, if you saw her, you seen me. If you see me, you see her. We went everywhere together all the time. That was my bitch. And so all throughout freshman year, we were literally good. Like, we did most everything together. I was always in her room. We always hung out. We always went to like parties and stuff together. Cool. So my sophomore year is when things started to get shaky, and this also goes back to my, so if you haven't watched my story time about the time that I was a side chick, you're not gonna understand what I'm referencing in some of this. So I would go watch that one first and then watch this one. Honestly, I would go watch that one first, and I would go watch the one about the time my friend got drunk as hell first as well, because both those reference people that are going to be in this story time, and I'm going to use the same names for everybody. So yeah, basically my sophomore year, everything was normal up until the whole side chick thing started happening. I just noticed that things were getting a little weird because I had mentioned to her in a previous conversation that, how do I even want to explain this? So the girl, I think I called her Sparkles in my last video. So the girl Sparkles, who was messing with King, I had peeped it a little earlier on, and I had mentioned to my friend how I felt about it, and I talked to her about it, and I was like, I really like him, and it kind of sucks that I'm watching this happen, but at the same time I can't really be mad because I was BSing, but it's really like my feelings are hurt. And so I was telling her about that, and we were just talking, normal friend conversation. But I think I had started to notice that I felt like she was kind of getting buddy. Ugh, there's a fucking fly in here. What the fuck? There's a fly in my room. But I had started to notice that she was getting like buddy with Sparkles, low key, and I was just like, I'm not one of those people. Now, disclaimer, I'm not one of those people that feel like, oh, if I don't like somebody, you can't be friends with them. That's childish. I feel like that's very childish. That's super immature. We're all adults. Now, it's different if it's somebody who would, do harm on me. I guess it's like 50-50 though, because I say that, but then I would also hope that if you were a good friend, then if you see me beefing with somebody, you wouldn't want to be in that person's face. So I really, it's 50-50. I think I feel some type of way depending on the situation. I just play it by ear, but y'all kind of know how it is, girl code, guy code, whatever. Anyway, so I felt some type of way when they were starting to get kind of, and if y'all see that fly, Lord Jesus, I feel like the fly is gonna make an appearance in my DM video. But I started to notice it, and now I forgot what I was saying. I started to notice they were getting a little buddy, but she would always kind of play it off like, oh, because I think they had a class together. That's what it was. They had a class together. And so she would always play it off as, oh, I mean, me and that girl, we just have a class together. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not about to be mean to her, or, I'm gonna be cordial with her, da da da. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind you being cordial with her. I'm saying you don't need to be in her face, buddy with her, knowing my situation and knowing that's her man. So how are you gonna, that's a conflict of interest. How are you gonna be friends with both of us? Like, you finna smile in this girl face like you don't know that I'm messing with her nigga, and you finna smile in my face like you don't know that I have history with this nigga, and me and her are currently, at this time the girl did not know about me. So it's like, it was just, to me, it was a conflict of interest. Like, why would you want to even put yourself in that? Why would you want that to be your situation? Like, you gotta smile in her face like you don't know what's going on with her and her dude, and then you gotta come around and be around me and act like you not trying to be buddy with, like, in her face. So anyway, that had started happening, and whenever I would kind of say anything about it or address it, she would lie about it. She would just be like, oh, we're not that cool, we don't really talk like that, blase blase. So I was getting irritated with it because as things moved along, it was getting even worse. And now, this isn't like the whole reason for why we fell out. So it's going to be several reasons throughout this whole video, but this is one of the instances for why we fell out, and everything's a little foggy at this point because it was years ago. So I'm going to try and tell everything in chronological order, but I really can't remember the order of events that this stuff happened. I remember the events, but I can't really remember the order they happened in. So my sophomore year, when I went to A&T, I really started to notice that she was getting buddy with old girl, and I was just like, are you serious? And so, a little backstory as well, I was also irritated because I felt like, so she did this pageant for a fraternity at our school. I won't say which one, I'm not gonna do all that, but once she did that pageant, and so the girl Sparkles did that same pageant, okay? So it was Kat is the friend I'm talking about, and Sparkles did that same pageant. So during the pageant, I'm noticing that she's really kissing Sparkles butt, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, all these girls that, because she was like, oh, well, I mean, these are my pageant sisters and we formed a bond and this and the third. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, why aren't you close to all your pageant sisters the way that you close to Sparkles? That don't make no sense to me. Like, why is that the only one that you really like on some next level type shit with, if it's all y'all? But I mean, maybe that's just me. Okay, whatever. So I had said that, and she was like, no, like, I'm cool with everybody, but it was very apparent that it was mainly her and Sparkles. And so when this pageant happened, and honestly a little before the pageant happened, but especially when this pageant happened, she started to become very, in my opinion, very, actually not even in my opinion, others noticed it too, very thirsty over this fraternity. Very thirsty. And to me, I was like, we used to laugh at, because whenever you go to college, it's girls that you have different types of girls, and one of the types of girls you have in college are the types of girls that be chasing after any and every fraternity. I forgot what they call girls like that, but they just be chasing after any and every fraternity. They always up they butt, treating them like they're celebrities just because they're in a fraternity. And I'm like, these are normal ass niggas. Like, ew, please chill the fuck out. So when she started acting like that, I was like, bro, we used to laugh at girls like that freshman year. Like, what are you doing? And she'd always kind of make excuses. So I was like, okay. Bet. Mind you, King was, and King is from my previous story, so King was also in this fraternity, and he was very known within this fraternity. And so because Sparkles was messing with King, I feel like because she was so bent on kissing this fraternity's butt, and because he was very well known within the fraternity, I feel like she was more concerned about her relationship with the two of them than her relationship with me as a best friend. So because he was very well known and everybody liked him, and because Sparkles was his girlfriend at the time, I feel like my friend Kat was more so concerned with being up under them than being a good friend to me. And so I started to notice that or whatever. I addressed it a few times, and she would always just kind of say the same thing. Like, basically like, oh, you know, you're tripping. It's not even like that. I feel like you're reading too hard into this. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So it had got to the point where I literally felt like if you fuck with the girl, just say you fuck with the girl, but just know that I think that's shady. On both, like, I think that's shady, because if you know that your friend is messing with my man and you befriend me and you don't say nothing, I would be ready to throw hands. I would literally be ready to throw hands if I found that out. Now, granted, I don't know if Sparkles ever found that out, but I would be ready to throw hands. I really would. Because you can't be a friend of me and know something like that. Like, how does that work? That doesn't work. So, it had got to the point where I had told King one of these days, I was like, your girlfriend and my friend really wilding at this point. Like, your girlfriend don't know, but my friend is wild and being up under your girl. And you know our situation, so why would you even want my friend up under your girl like that? And he was kind of feeling the same way. He was like, you know, but I ain't got no say in it. So, okay, cool. So time passes, and it had got to the point where there was one instance where I'm on Snapchat and I see my best friend and Sparkles in the same outfit. They're hanging out, like they would be hanging out with each other and whatnot. I see her and Sparkles, Kat and Sparkles, in the same outfit. So I shoot King a text because I'm mad. Not because he can do anything about it, but just because I'm mad. And that's who I used to, I was venting to him about it. And then I shoot my friend a text, and I'm like, oh, but you don't really know that girl like that. You don't really talk to her like that. Y'all not really cool like that. Okay. Like, you supposed to be my friend. And I think at the time I was more so also upset because Kat had somebody pass in her family earlier in the year, and I felt like I was a good friend during that time. I was a very good friend to her, and I felt like I wasn't getting that in return. I felt like, I was the one who was there for you during that. This girl don't even know you. You barely know this girl, but you willing to risk it all basically, just to be up under these fraternity niggas. Like, bruh, are you serious? So when that happened, I was definitely upset, because I'm like, yo, this is really somebody I call my best friend. You know my situation, and you posted up on social media wearing the same outfit as the girl that I told you what our situation is. Like, are you serious? Like, that's just y'all, and y'all let me know. Like, let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I just feel like that's so flawed. Like, and I mean, at the same time, who knows? Maybe that was karma, because I was doing some flaw shit too. So maybe it was just karma. But yes, so that was one of the reasons that we started to fall out, because I was like, I just didn't really feel like she was being a good friend to me in that instance. And so it kind of translated, because then it had got worse to the point where me and my friend, we came, and this was when when I first moved to Charlotte. So I had come back for homecoming. So me and Kitty actually went to SU for homecoming. We go to SU for homecoming, and the vibe is weird. And this is another thing that I had started to notice too, that I was feeling like some type of way about, because every time during this period when I switched over to A&T, when I would come back onto SU's campus to see my best friend, she would act funny. Like, if she had made this new friend, I'm gonna call the new friend Kiki. And so she had made this new friend Kiki, And whenever I would come back on campus, mind you, her and Kiki go to school together. They see each other every day. I would come back on campus to visit her, and she would just kind of be like, wouldn't really be acting excited to see me, would kind of just be like, oh, whatever, she's here, cool, whatever. Like, it went from, like, being like, hey, bitch, like, all that stuff to just being like, what's up? Like, she would just act really like she didn't give a fuck. She would act really nonchalant. Like, it was shady. Like, and so, but when Kiki would come around, she'd be like, oh my God, hey, bitch, I missed you. I'm like, are you serious? What is there to miss? Y'all go to the same school together. Y'all see each other every day. Like, girl, call me salty. Go ahead. Because I was salty. I was like, yo, are you serious? Like, you're my best friend. Like, what the... Are you serious? Like, if y'all could have seen how she would act when I came to campus, it was like, it was clearly shady as fuck. So she would start doing that. So me and Kitty came up for SU's homecoming. Now, during homecoming, we both very much so noticed that she was more concerned with being in Kiki's face, more so like, oh, like when they would talk about plans, they would talk about plans amongst the two of them. They wouldn't really include any of the rest of us. And it was a group of us that came for, well, it was just me and Kitty that came from Charlotte, but I want to say our other friend, I want to say Stacy might have been there for that too, but she left earlier. I think Stacy and her sister, maybe. It was Stacy and somebody, but they had left earlier, so they didn't stay. But me and Kitty stayed. So we would just kind of notice, like, they would talk amongst each other. They would have all these inside jokes, and I'm cool with the inside jokes. That's, you know, that's whatever. I don't really care about that. But they would just be in, like, very, like, you know how some people, you can hang out with some people that are friends and they're very inclusive of everybody. They don't make you feel awkward. They don't make you feel like, oh, like, dang, like, should I have come? Like, you know, some people are very good at being inclusive of the whole group. They were being very, very the opposite. They were just being very, oh, it's just the two of us. What do you want to do, girl? Like, let's get into this. Let's get into that. And they would have conversations off to the side, not including none of the rest of us. So I was like, okay, that's also weird. This is supposed to be still my best friend. So I peeped that. And so while they were doing that, we were still all being, you know, really cool or whatever. It was just like, okay, like at first I wasn't really paying it no mind. Like I noticed it definitely, but I wasn't really paying it no mind. I was like, okay, I mean, that's kind of weird, but cool, whatever. So that whole homecoming weekend, everything, and mind you, so this is after the pageant. She did the pageant sophomore year. This is my junior year, the fall of my junior year. I'm in Charlotte now. I came back to see her. So when it came to homecoming, I had noticed as well, and this was something that had already been bothering me, that she was just being really thirsty over this fraternity. So when it came to the tailgate, she was like super concerned about getting to the tailgate so we could stand under their tent the whole time. And I'm just like, can we walk around? Like, we know mad people at this school. Like, I'm walking around. I'm not standing under these niggas the whole time. Like, they cool. I fucked with them. They were cool. But that's not what I came there for. It's homecoming. I did not come here to stand up under these niggas the whole time just so I could say I'm associated with them. Like, I do not care about none of that. So let's walk around. Let's mingle. But she wanted to do that. So I was like, okay, strike one, but okay. So then we get to when we're walking, because at Winston-Salem, everybody for the homecoming games and stuff, people will walk from the dorms because parking is too crazy because alumni, you know, the alumni rep, they said, okay, they come by the bunches, they come thick, they do not play, they all come out. So don't think you finna park anywhere because you're not. So everybody walks to and from the game. So to the game, Kat and Kiki are walking way ahead of everybody, not really concerned about if anybody is with them or anything. It's just the two of them. They walking way ahead of everybody, being super exclusive. And I'm just like, okay, like, this is still supposed to be my best friend. She's being really shady, okay. So, and on the way back, they were doing the same thing, walking way ahead of everybody. It was just all about the two of them. So I'm just like, okay. All right, okay. I'm just peeping it. I'm just like, okay. So we went to this event, this club event. Me and Kitty were like, bruh, like, why is she doing all this extra? Like, just all this extra. Like, everything was, oh, I gotta do this for my bros. I gotta make sure my bros have this. I gotta make sure my bros have that. Like, it was just like on some groupie, like, I'm trying to act like I'm just the mother of all motherly figures to all these niggas, all these grown ass niggas that, to me at the time, I feel like, you know, why are you going on this extra mile? These niggas not gonna talk to you after y'all graduate. Like, y'all aren't, like, you're being really pressed to be close with these dudes, and just, you know, just lay off them. Like, lay off them. So she was just acting like that the whole time. So she was just up under them the whole time. So we get to this co-event. She just wanted to stand under them the whole time at the event. And me and Kitty are over here like, girl, we do not want to stand up under these. We're just like, bruh, we paid money to get these tickets to come to this event, and you want to stand up under them the whole time? Like, that's not what we came for. Like, this is not what we came for. Like, it was just very pressed. I was embarrassed. Kitty was embarrassed. We're just like, bruh, like, I'm not trying to be chasing after these dudes all homecoming. Like, I don't know why you acting like this. I know you did this pageant for them. That's cool, whatever. But I'm not trying to be up under them all homecoming. Like, chill out. So that event was awkward because that was basically the whole event. Like, me and Kitty would have to, and I mean, it wasn't like really, really awkward because I knew enough people to where me and Kitty could go off outside of them and talk to other people and stuff. But it was just awkward that the person that we came with was being that thirsty. So we get out of the event, and something had happened on SU's campus that the campus was shut down for like maybe like an hour, maybe 30 minutes. It wasn't nothing big, but the campus was shut down for a second. Of course, out of all the places we could have gone, because we had several places we could have gone, out of all the places that me and Kitty weren't driving, I'm pretty sure Kat was driving, all the places we could have gone, Kat is pressed to go to this one of the fraternity guys, go to his house, just so, to me and Kitty, we was like, she only wants to go over here just so she could say, oh my God, during the lockdown, like, we had no choice but to, that fly finally made an appearance, but during the lockdown, we had no choice but to go wait at so-and-so's house. Like, we had to wait with them. Like, you know, they took care of us while it was during the lockdown, because those are my brothers, da-da-da. Like, I was just like, she didn't say that, but the vibe she was giving was like we knew that's why she was so pressed to go to that specific person's place. So me and Kitty at this point, we are over it. We're just like, bruh, this whole homecoming, you've been mad thirsty. You haven't been including us in nothing. You've been chasing after these dudes the whole time. And on top of that, Kitty had peeped how shady Kat was being towards me too. She was like, and not even just towards me, towards the both of us. Like, she was just acting like, I mean, and granted, her and Kitty weren't really close, but me and her was like this at one point. So it's like, really, like, for you to act like that towards me. But Kitty peeped it too. She was like, nah, you're not tripping. Like, she definitely being like real, like, just real shady towards you. So I'm like, okay. So after that, by the end, and so then the next day in the morning, we go to the caf and we're all eating. So we go to the caf, and then me and Kitty sit down to eat. And I want to say that we had a disagreement with Kat, and Kat puts her stuff down with us, and we all go get food. But when we come back, Kat and Kiki have gone to go sit with the fraternity niggas. So I'm like, oh, word? Like, this our last day here. We're about to leave after this. It's our last meal here with you before we leave. But you rather be up under these niggas. I'm still supposed to be her best friend at this point, but clearly I was not a friend at all at this point. Clearly she was feeling some type of way and didn't really fuck with me like that. And I was just, you know, I feel like I'm a really genuine friend. Like, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you. I'll go hard for you, all that stuff. And it actually hurts my feelings when I fall off with friends. It actually hurts my feelings. Depending on how close we were, it actually will hurt my feelings. I'm not one of them, you know, people like to act all proud and be all proud, like, oh, I'm such a savage, I cut people off, da da da. But no, I'm not like that. If I really cared about you, I could still cut you off, but you know, it's gonna hurt. I feel it too. I definitely feel it too. But I'm just like, wow, like, I know I don't go to this school anymore, but damn, you had to do me like that? Like, really? So that happened, and so by the time that me and Kitty looked around and seen that she was up under these dudes being real thirsty in the caf, we was just like, bruh, I'm over it. I was like, girl, you ready to go? She was like, girl, I've been ready to go. I was like, I'm so ready to go, because this is like, I'm tired of this thirstiness. I'm tired of all this. I'm ready to go. So we got all of our stuff. We went back to Kat's room. We packed, well, our bags were already packed, but we got all of our stuff, and we left, and we came back to Charlotte, and we were just like so ready to leave, because that whole homecoming was just like, it was just Kat being super pressed, or, you know, her and Kiki acting like we weren't there, or we weren't a part of their little 2-person clique, like. And it was just, to me, I feel like if I'm your best friend, like, that's mad shady. Like, if you feel some type of way towards me, like, just let me know. You shouldn't even have let me come up there. So that happens, and after that happens, me and Kat do not talk for a good little minute. And I'm like, wow, like, she really don't give a fuck. Like, she not trying to mend this or nothing. Like, were we really ever friends? Like, if you don't give a fuck like that, were we really ever friends? And so I was definitely feeling some type of way. My feelings were hurt. And that was homecoming season. So that's like October. So we did not really speak until she came down for CIAA in March. That's how unconcerned she was. We did not speak. And the only reason we spoke when she came down for CIAA is because at that time, myself and Stacy were living together, and everybody was kind of like, you know, I feel like y'all need to talk. Y'all used to be friends. Like, you know, there's this tension in here, and, you know, it's kind of weird. And when we ended up talking, we ended up more so arguing than talking. And my thing is, another reason that we fell out, in my opinion, was that Kat always kind of felt like she could bitch people. I think kind of more so because of her size, or she would try and get loud on you, and kind of like, I think more so for me, it was because of our size differences. Like, she was a lot thicker at the time. I was very small, and so we had instances before in club events where when she would get drunk, she would get very aggressive when she was drunk, very aggressive when she was drunk. And my thing is, I'm not like that when I'm drunk. I'm very chill, happy-go-lucky. I'm funny when I'm drunk. Like, I don't get aggressive when I'm drunk. But I also don't like, and I said this in another video of mine, I don't like when people try and bitch me. So, drunk or not, don't be pushing on me. Don't be, you know, trying to tell me to shut the fuck up. No, we not finna be on none of that type of time. So, she would always try and do that when she was drunk, and it would create issues for us. So, there had been times before where we had been at parties and people had to get in between us or pull us apart because she started doing that, you know, pushing and whatever, or talking out the side of her neck. And I was like, bitch, you got the right one. And so when we had this conversation during CIAA, it was like she was trying to scream over me or yell over me. She wasn't really trying to hear nothing I was trying to say. She just was trying to yell over me. And I was like, bro, you not finna keep yelling over me. Like, I'm very with the shits. Like, you're not finna keep yelling over me. Like, so she was just doing that. And so we were going back and forth. Everybody was like, you know, y'all just gotta chill out. Y'all just gotta talk to each other. Basically, long story short, nothing was really resolved, because the whole entire time that I was trying to reach out to her and be like, you know, I don't understand why you don't care about our friendship at all. Her whole entire thing was just like excuses, just being like, well, I don't really, you know, I have other shit to worry about. I don't really have time to be worried about that. And it don't really concern me. And so that told me everything I needed to know. And that whole conversation didn't really solve anything, because she didn't see where she could have been wrong, or even not even more so wrong, but where I would have been hurt by how she was acting. She didn't see any of that. So yes, basically that is, I want to say that was probably the last time that we really talked. That was the last time that we really talked. That was like 3 years ago. And yeah, that is how we fell off. Hopefully you guys don't experience the same things. Hopefully your friends know how to not be flaw friends. Hopefully not. There were also little things in between too, like the fact that I would always feel like when I would talk to her about things that were going on in my life, like when she would talk to me about her stuff, I would always listen. I would give input if she wanted it. I would, you know, be a very active listener. Whenever I would talk to her about anything, she would zone out. She'd be on her phone, really more so concerned about her phone. I'd be wanting advice. I don't like to talk to myself. If I wanted to talk to myself and not get a response on anything, I know not everybody's like that, but that's how I am. If I didn't want to respond to nothing, I would have a conversation with myself in my head. I wouldn't have bothered to open my mouth. So if I'm opening my mouth, I want a response. I need active listeners. That's just how I am. Some people aren't like that. That's how I am. So I would get done talking and she literally would just, she wouldn't say nothing. She wouldn't say nothing at all. And I even had moments where I had to be like, girl, so you just not gonna say nothing? Like, I'm over here asking for advice and I just got done telling you all this stuff and you just not saying nothing. And she knew that got on my nerves. Anybody who knows me knows that get on my nerves. So it would just be little stuff like that too. But yeah, basically that is how I fell out with one of my best friends. Hopefully you guys don't have similar situations, but I know, you know, by default, I know a lot of people do because it's part of life. Sometimes you ride for people and sometimes you really click with people and y'all be good to go for the rest of forever, and then sometimes you meet people and you fall off. So now that I look back at it, it's probably fortunate that we fell off. Maybe that was just, you know, clearly was meant to happen. So but yes, if you guys have similar stories, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this story. Do you feel like I was wrong, or do you feel like I kind of had good reasoning for feeling some type of way, or what? So that is it, and I will see you guys in my next story time.